1. Welcome to the Strategy and Communication Services Committee for May 23rd, 2023. On this committee, myself, Chair Grant Berg, along with Councillors O'Toole and Bosch, and Mayor Clayton. Call this meeting to order. We don't have any delegations. Reports. Service area update with Acting Chief Tarrant.
Thank you, Chair Berg, for the report today. For marketing, the Grande Prairie Police Service marketing campaign is successfully underway. There continues to be movement on the Salesforce integration for sales and sponsorship, which will be able to give us the ability to do better forecasting and analysis on our sales and sponsorship. Marketing is currently reviewing the different brand strategies that were developed with the consultant, and they're consolidating the feedback to get decision making. For HR, the Municipal Leadership Academy applications will be open soon for municipal employees, and that program will start in September 2023. For intergovernmental affairs, we were able to assist several local Indigenous organizations in hosting a smudge at the Bonnets Center for evacuees of the Sturgeon Lake First Nation, and a great event there, and we were able to support in that way. Other than that, many of the departments were heavily involved in the Dunes West GPREP response over the last couple of weeks, and significant resources were lent and provided to the response there. With that, that's the report.
All right. Any questions? Looking around. I don't see any. But again, yes, thank you to the team. I checked out the evacuation center and was pleasantly surprised that it was manned with dozens of City Hall staff. And I know that they put in a lot of extra hours, a lot of long hours, stressful hours. So again, our hats off to our staff that assisted in this way that they could. Moving on, bylaw and policy review. 6.1, boards and committees. Mr. Tarrant.
Thank you, Chair Berg, and I will turn it over to Director Hansen, who will present both the next two reports.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Council. So we will look at the first report today is the bylaw amendment of C1422B, boards and committees. The recommendation coming forward to committee is to recommend council give 3 readings to this bylaw. There are a number of amendments within this. Information was provided both as the draft actual amending bylaw as well as the marked up working copy for committee to be able to see where those changes are. On here, some of the changes are in more housekeeping and editing in nature. Definitions, for example, to include both internal and external committees and boards. Around definition, including alternate as specified in the bylaw. And with that, I'm going to just refer to page in the table of contents. Of course, there's a number of changes that were made, and I will go through those, and then if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those. So again, page 17 is 16 and 17 starts the working copy that was provided for your easy reference. Under Schedule A, under Established Committees, where a number of changes were made. One was to remove the Bylaw and Policy Review Committee. This committee, I understand, was put in place some time ago as a mechanism to bring forward changes for bylaws and policies. That changed when Policy 124 was approved by Council, and so there is a new process in place, so that committee is no longer in effect. The Coordinated Care Campus Advisory Committee was an added committee that wasn't in the bylaw previously, so that was added. The Municipal Policing Advisory Committee was removed with the changes with the adoption of the Municipal Police Service and Commission. And there's been some wording updates, such as the Subdivision and Development Approving Authority, which is actually just the Subdivision Development Authority. So there are a number of those housekeeping items that happened throughout this amendment to the policy. With that, I would open up for questions for council and happy to address specific items that are identified there.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hanson. We're going to go to Councillor O'Toole. Sure, he can go first. He wasn't in his chair. So, Councillor Bressie.
Great, thanks. Something I was gonna bring up when we got this at Youth Advisory Council. It's the way the bylaw reads. The two councillors that go to advisory councils are probably voting members because it's clear that the administrative person isn't a voting member, which makes it sound like two councillors are voting members. And in my opinion, and Councillor Bosch's, it's not really appropriate for us to be voting when we're at Youth Advisory Council. That's for the youth to decide. So I'm wondering if while we've got the bylaw open, committee would be open to an amendment to make it clear that councillors are there as non-voting members of that committee.
Is there anybody on the committee that would like to make that motion? Yes, but he's not.
Not on this committee.
On this committee, okay. I'll move that motion, yes. I feel the same way. It's a youth advisory committee, and, you know, it isn't something that, you know, other than advice and advising us as a council and administration, it seems ambiguous for us to be advising ourselves for them. So, yeah, I would make that motion.
Okay, Mayor Clayton.
I'm just going to ask for maybe a consideration of other advisory committees. The Economic Development is an advisory committee, so maybe your motion could include advisory committees, not just youth council. In my opinion, council is on many advisory committees. In my opinion, they are there to hear what the members of our community are saying, not to influence them, sway them, and vote. And so I think that advisory committees, if we're going to have council members on them, probably should be non-voting members. So
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. Sure, I would accept that amendment.
Okay, and then again, this will go forward to council for further deliberation. That motion is in order. I'll call the question. All right, any other questions? Councillor O'Toole. Mike.
No other questions, but if there's business to look after, I can make that happen today.
So I have one question, and then we'll go back to you. So Ms. Hanson, just a point of clarity, and I know the answer, but again, with the removal of item 13, Municipal Policing Advisory Committee, that is the former iteration of the Policing Committee, and this one is abolished to make room for the brand new Municipal Policing Commission. Sorry.
Yes, through the chair, my understanding is this will allow for the next steps to occur with any advisory committees that would be attached to the Municipal Policing Service, Municipal Policing Commission, and would just defer to Deputy City Manager Miller if you have some additional comment on that.
Thanks, Chair Bosch. Chair Grant.
Thanks.
Too many chairs.
She's the Bosch lady.
Yes. No, it's correct what Ms. Hanson said as well. We are in a transition period where we're setting aside the Municipal Police Advisory Committee. At the same time, we have the Police Commission that's now in place, but the Police Commission will perform a dual role for a period of time as well as the Policing Committee to still liaise on behalf of Council with the RCMP.
Perfect. Again, I just kind of wanted that on the public record. Councillor O'Toole, then Councillor Bressie. O'Connor.
Hey, I got upgraded. Okay, thank you very much. My question is just for clarification. I don't see the Peace Library system here, and so I'm curious as to whether or not that's an advisory or just a board, and I just wanted to know how that fit into the equation. Peace Library system.
So the Peace Library system has not been in this bylaw. It has previously been seen as an external board and committee as opposed to a direct committee of council.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson. Councillor Bressie.
Great. Well, first, just a comment. 2 committees that I was on are being abolished from the bylaw. I don't know if that says I'm really effective or really not effective, but I just noticed that the 2 we're abolishing are two committees that I actually think I made the original motion to start. So I found that. But just the Police Advisory Committee, I also just wanted to flag that the commission hasn't had its first actual meeting yet, but we have gone through orientation, and I'm sensing a real priority of all members on that is that there's strong advisory committees as part of the commission, including from the members that have served on that Police Advisory Committee. So maybe it looks like we're cutting out police advisory capacity from the community into our police services, but I actually think that's just going to fall under the commission instead of council now. There'll still be strong community advisory committees, I'm sure, for our police service.
Wonderful. Thank you, Councillor Bressie. Councillor O'Toole.
Okay, I'll start off if there's no other business. I move the committee recommend council give 3 readings to bylaw C-1422B, being an amendment to the boards and committees bylaw as amended.
And that is in order. I'll call the question.
Okay.
I haven't seen the vote. Was it 4?
Unanimous.
Oh, it did pop up. I missed it. Okay. I'm assuming 4-0 then. Okay, thank you. And Ms. Hanson for the next item, 6.2 Council Code of Conduct.
Yes, thank you through the chair. So the next item is the amendment to bylaw C-1384, the Code of Conduct for Elected Officials. With this one, the recommendation again is for committee to recommend council give 3 readings to bylaw C-1384A. Previous direction was provided by council on May 1st, and where council directed administration to bring back to the appropriate standing committee amendments to the council code of conduct to require councillors to make reasonable efforts to attend council and standing committee meetings in person. With this, we took this back to administration, legislative services, and the legal department with the assistance of our city solicitor, reviewed possible wording to hopefully meet the intention of council's direction. And with that, the amendment to the Code of Conduct bylaw C-1384 was provided in your package. The inclusions are under a 4.4.1, indicating that elected officials shall make reasonable efforts to attend council and standing committees and meetings in person, providing that they shall not be required to attend such meetings in person when they are outside of the city for the purpose of, and A, being attending to city business as assigned by council, B, attending to the business of a board, commission, or committee to which they have been appointed by council, or vacation, medical treatment, bereavement, or similar permitted purposes under applicable law. The second section added was 4.4.2, notwithstanding subsection 4.4.1 of this bylaw. Elected officials shall not be required to attend meetings in person when they are in the city with an illness or a medical condition. There were a few other housekeeping items and editing that were amended while we were reviewing this bylaw, and they are for definition of titles, including non-gender specific language and those type of things. And I would open up for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson. Any questions? I don't see. Oh, Mayor Clayton?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really, I can wait till council. It's fine.
Councillor O'Toole?
You're ready, you're prepared, I'm ready to make do the
Sure. I just wanted to make one comment. I believe that this conversation stemmed from Zoom meetings and what we were allowed, and this kind of spun off from it. And essentially, this is council holding ourselves to a higher standard, but also understanding the role of council and what we have for external committees as well. So it's nice to see these additions and the language cleaned up. So thank you. Councillor O'Toole.
I concur with you 100%, sir. I move that committee recommend council give 3 readings to bylaw C-1384A, being an amendment to the council code of conduct bylaw.
And that is in order. With that, I'll call the question. And that carries 4-0. Outstanding items list. Mr. Tarrant.
Thank you, Chair Berg. Item 1268, the Council Code of Conduct amendments with the motion that was just made, recommend that that would be removed from the outstanding items list. All other items are on track as per the dates listed there.
Okay, any questions around that? Just business? All right, Councillor Bosch.
Thank you, Chair Berg. I move committee receive the May 23rd, 2023 outstanding items list as amended for information.
And I call the question. And with that, that carries 4-0. And with that, the Strategy and Communication Services Committee is adjourned.